This is an argument that we have on a daily basis, Adrian.
No matter how much technology we put in, we can never replace the human element of a relationship.
Finally, he admits it.
Welcome to the Automotive Business Podcast. We sit down every week with the architects of the trade to spotlight the markets and the machines. My name is Adrian Simpson, and today we go from the forecourt to the finance platform to explore the next generation of POS integration. Our guests today are the driving force behind AU Finance. Vaughan is the CTO, a man who has dedicated his career to uncovering the complexities of financial dynamics and the edge required to succeed in volatile markets. Joining him is Jarrod Bradley, Managing Director at AU Finance and the visionary behind Qatcha, a scalable retail finance platform that provides real-time notifications and an experience-first approach to motor finance. Together, they are redefining how dealerships of all sizes, from 25 units to national groups, manage lender decisions and compliance. Liam and Jarrod, welcome to the show. For the people who aren't going to see you, you look absolutely beaming, which is either tomorrow is a bank holiday, which it is, or you're talking about one of the major loves of your life, automotive finance. Now, Liam, Jarrod, we'll kick off with just a basic all-round question. You've built a system from the ground up that aims to bridge that gap with over 20 lenders and 50 products at the push of a button. Now, before we get into everything, is the traditional finance broker model dying, or is it just waiting for the right platform to save it?
Ooh, we're in there straight away, aren't we? I don't know. I guess I think that depends on how we define traditional. I think the role of finance broker is definitely here to stay, for sure. And I think the last few years would be testament to that. I think the biggest challenge for the broker as a reference over the past 10, 20 years is technology. And I think anybody or any broker who doesn't add value to the overall process will be left behind. Absolutely no doubt about that. And I think whilst every broker would claim to add value to the process, that value is diminished. We are reverting or relying on manual resource. That's where things slow down. That's where mistakes happen. And that's what causes the backlog and the problems that people can't see.
You're saying about people keeping up with the pace of things. Obviously, everyone's aware in every kind of industry and sector and part of life, things are changing at lightning speed. How do you keep up? How do people stay in touch with what's going on and how they develop what their business looks like?
And that's where technology comes in, isn't it? Everything needs to be visible to all the stakeholders involved. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think to keep up, we've got to keep ahead as well. So, for example, obviously AI is the biggest thing in the market right now. We've got to look at how AI can help us even more and get them decisions onto the dealer even quicker, because we've got 30 years of data basically in terms of actual use cases and where they've been placed. Now, you can look at that data and go, actually, we've seen these customer demographics before. We can place this customer with this lender. We know it's going to get accepted. And it's all that historical AI data that we can look at and go, actually, how can we make it even better? How can we make it quicker? Can we do it in nanoseconds rather than within minutes that we do now? And I think that's going to be the real eye-opener of looking at the future and going, actually, does it look like an app, for example? Does a customer get an app, scan a card, and know the decision then and then based on an app? I think definitely technology, and I think definitely it's changing. It's changed within the last 5 years, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
I think even more, it's going to come so the customers, as you say, they expect here and now, not within an hour, not within a week. They want it now. And I think that applies to the finance broker as well.
I think the role, though, at the heart of that, let's not forget what the actual role of a broker is. As the intermediary, bringing the lender, the customer, and the dealer all in one place. Yeah. And that's the bit where I think we get undervalued. People don't see that, and we just spend a load of money bringing all that to the forefront. No one will realize how much money that's cost, and no one actually will really see the value because people tend to expect that now. So I say to you at Adrian Motors, we can do this for you. You go, are you a lender or you're a broker or what? We're a broker. I can deal directly with a lender. Why do that? Because we've got 20 plus lenders here. We've got 50 plus products. We can deliver those to you and your customer literally in seconds. It's whether that resonates with you as a retailer or whether you still think that dealing directly with one, maybe 2 or 3 direct lenders, and then you and your team having to rekey to lender 1, get a decision, no, lender 2, no. Lender 3, maybe. Why do all that when we can offer you just one input and you get it all and more?
Do you think there's a misconception about brokers then? Do you think that people are just thinking that's adding on a layer of complexity?
I think historically, definitely a misconception. And it didn't help with the kind of people assuming that a middleman will take a big load of that money, limit up, and then, that's mine. So what's left is yours. And people weren't prepared to pay because they didn't realize the value. In truth, Adrian, 10 years ago, there probably wasn't that much value, but now there is. Now there really is. And I think that from now and moving forward, the role of the broker is definitely going to increase in value.
So how does Qatcha specifically tackle the stigma of the slow broker when you're competing with direct lenders who promise that instant experience?
I think the key is speed. If you're submitting to a lender, you're submitting to one lender. Yeah, there is systems out there where you can multi-prop, but for example, when you're multi-propping a customer, that's additional searches. When essentially you send it to us, we will look at that customer's profile in advance and it's submitted to the best lenders based on that customer's credit profile.
That's important as well, based upon the customer's profile. Going back to that misconception, Adrian, like you just referenced, there's always been a stigma with a broker that we will put the customer's application where it suits us best. That's bygone days. That time's long gone. Going back to the added value element, if we are operating in that level of transparency, the customer will go where the customer's best suited based upon the customer's profile.
A good place now would be to explain exactly what Qatcha is and how it works and why it's different.
What's Qatcha? What's good about it?
And what's different?
Are you sure you?
I'm glad you asked, Adrian.
I think, to be absolutely frank, it's taken us 5 years. Yeah. The challenge with our role is, for all the things that we're just telling you about, it's taken so much time to integrate with all of those providers because every one of them, most of them, does something different.
Yeah.
Not just in the credit profiles that they accept, but on the systems and their interfaces that they use. So it's just taken a long time to get all of that data, all of those processes, all of those system languages, is that the right word, into one place. And then for us and Qatcha to be able to understand what those messages into it actually means. It gives you a headache in trying to interpret what lender A says over lender B. And you may well be saying the same thing, but they're saying it in different ways. And for us, that would be fine. We can interpret that internally, but we went one better because those decisions, as they're coming through to our interface, we display them to you as Adrian Motors and to your customer buying your vehicle all at the same time. So we've got to then interpret that quickly to display it because you guys are looking. And if you guys can't understand that in the moment, in real time, then that's not progress. That's going to cause us another obstacle. And that's been the challenge. But we've done it. It's taken us a long time, but we've done it. And I think for us, the jewel in the crown is everything we do is all in real time. And that's the time saving, the speed efficiencies, the transparency. I don't think people believe us. We've been talking about this in our soft early launch this year to dealers, but they've heard it all before because that's what's going round. That's what's regurgitated in the industry. People all promise the same thing despite not being able to deliver it.
That's what I'm really interested in. How do you communicate this, as you say, to a whole group of people who are well weary, seen it or heard it all before? How do you communicate what your product does, your service does, how it's different and how it will change the way they can operate and make money?
It's all in one place, isn't it? How we get it out there, all we've got to do is demo it. Seeing is believing, as corny as that is. But doing a demo and showing you in live, in real time, that your customer that you've just submitted is now accepted. And here are the terms of that acceptance. Here's the documentation, which is all digital. We've done all the background checks. The lender's done what they need to do. It's almost too good to be true.
I read somewhere that I think you said 78% of customers now complete the finance tasks independently through your portal. What was the most surprising manual task that you were able to automate that dealers previously thought had to be done by a human?
That's a good one. Because there's quite a lot now, isn't there? There's quite a lot been automated. I think probably, is it not the most mundane stuff that we probably take for granted?
What we find is obviously dealers are busy. So we don't want them, for example, having to chase a customer for proofs, do we?
No.
Chasing the driving license, for example, or chasing a proof of earnings. When essentially all we need from that dealer is maybe clearance of unit stock and an invoice. They're the two things that we need. Meanwhile, we can get busy in the background chasing the customer and getting the proofs. And I think that's the biggest hurdle, isn't it?
We've been doing this job for 30 plus years. We've learned the hard way. What we tried to set out to do was automate everything that we could possibly automate, which is essentially where we are now.
Yeah.
Any limitations in that automation, Adrian, is as a result of third parties. So lenders that can't do something, they're not as far down the line as we are. But ultimately, the experience of the customer and the dealer remains the same regardless of what lender is chosen. That's because it's all done in our platform.
Now, obviously, automotive car finance has been all over the news in the last 18 months, 2 years. And then following that landmark Supreme Court rulings on commissions, which is not directly to do with it, but is associated with it, I know you implemented a disclosure process for full accountability. So how does Qatcha make that best practice compliance a background task rather than it being like this frontline burden for a salesperson? If you're enjoying the Automotive Business Podcast, then why not check out our video reviews on business motoring, where we test drive everything from the venerable Range Rover right through to the latest Chinese SUVs, allowing you to make the very best informed decision for your next fleet purchase.
I think it's a great turn of phrase, that, isn't it? We have made compliance and the boring stuff, so to speak, background, haven't we, rather than putting it at the fore, because it's definitely deemed to be a hurdle.
And I think that the fact that the commission disclosure process now is just another task, isn't it? So the customer will go in, they'll see the commission disclosure task. He will do that, then complete the documents.
Yeah.
Well, we're not holding the process up. We give the customer a clear task to be able to do before they get the documentation.
So as Liam says, it's just another task. Whilst it's controversial in the industry, actually become the norm very quickly. And I don't think we'd be alone in saying, since it became an absolute, we've had zero customers walk away as a result of us declaring the commission amount.
I'm aware of it in the past. There were cases where people weren't happy with the false impression of a wide lender panel, when in reality there was only sort of one really considered. So I think you've got over 20 lenders, you said, on the platform. How do you ensure that the dealer is genuinely empowered and it's all visible to offer the most suitable?
That's an easy one. All of our decisions are displayed to all stakeholders. You can't get further than that. It's like a marketplace, so to speak. If a customer is able to be submitted to 5 different places, the results will be displayed, and the customer and the dealer can work that through and decide which one is best. Even you couldn't argue with that, Adrian.
I'm not an argumentative person by nature, but if you want me to, I'll get really stuck into it. No, we've got to move on. But now I know that you've talked about a multi-channeled approach, and everything nowadays in so many industries is about data. How does your data allow a dealer to personalize a finance offer for a repeat customer before they even come back into the showroom?
So you might have seen on LinkedIn recently, we started putting some stuff out about our new API suite. Essentially, what that's given us is the ability to be more flexible so that we can integrate into third-party systems. There might be a dealer, for example, that's using a third-party system, and they want to stay there, they're comfortable with it, so they want to keep their finance within it. So we've opened up our APIs to allow that to happen. And then for dealers that don't want that, or they haven't got a DMS system, we've got tools like, for example, a quotation system with eligibility checks. And then the dealer can then send that to the customer to let them apply in their own time. And that's all done essentially from a dealer's desk, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's not being vain, Adrian. I think given the time and money invested into this, it would be nice if we were pointing everybody to our own system login. I think what we realized quite quickly, due to the speed of progress in the industry, we're having to integrate. So APIs. Are you familiar with APIs, by the way, Adrian?
I am actually.
My scouts friend. Yeah.
I can understand. Yeah, I'm not getting into your regional accents, but unbelievably, I've been able to understand the minute you started speaking.
Yeah. So the APIs that we're building now, it will effectively completely remove any need to come into our environment. Obviously, they appreciate what it does, which is great, but it means that they just completely leave us out of the mix until the moment where they need to get the thing done, which is, for me, a hard lesson to learn. But that's the way it goes, isn't it?
I think that's it. Yeah. I think the market's changing in the sense that there's so many DMS providers out there, there's so many media providers out there that have all got its own unique system. And from a dealer's point of view, you want to be able to use one system and keep that application within your showroom and your dealership.
Now, you've recently pivoted to serve large franchise groups in addition to the used car market. What would you say is the biggest difference when you move from like a 25-unit independent to a national group, which is in facilitating thousands?
You know what? The finance journey ultimately is the same journey regardless of where you conduct it. I think it gets complex or more complex when you introduce people's ways of working. The bigger groups have a certain set way of how they want that same journey to be done. So other than that, I think ultimately the crown jewels bit is the most important bit, isn't it? That's where we add value. The rest is, as Liam was saying earlier, is I guess just the plugins, isn't it? And the method of communication, because some of these franchise groups don't want to communicate with individual branches. They want to deal with a head office or a central unit. But other than that, Adrian, I think it's the same, isn't it?
Whether you sell one car to sell 100 cars, the process is always the same. The customer applies to the finance documents and gets paid out ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just how you get from A to B. And I think that probably the key difference is resource, isn't it, for the dealership?
Yeah, and that's where we win with Qatcha. Our system's open 24/7. I'd love my guys to be working much later than they do or willing to, but thankfully I don't need to ask them anymore or pay them overtime or be nice to them even, because the system does it, which is, it does give us the ability to, you've got some quite powerful people in these franchise groups who expect a lot and demand a lot. And I think they can't really complain when I say that the service is open 24/7.
That brings me to a couple of other questions, actually. The first one, which is about the human element. Now, I know you've got pretty amazing, glowing 4.9 out of 5 rating for your digital journey, and you still maintain on-site and virtual support teams. What's the one thing a digital platform can never replace in the motor finance relationship?
This is an argument that we have on a daily basis, Adrian.
For me, I think our company history has always been built on relationship-driven finance, hasn't it?
Because we're nice people.
Because we're nice people.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think no matter how much technology we put in, we can never replace the human element of a relationship.
Finally, he admits it.
I think that there's a lot we can do with technology in terms of the process and getting the decision out there. But I think a human touch of having someone to speak to and to oversee that relationship is always going to be needed, isn't it?
Yeah, I think kind of robots are robots. And obviously for what we've achieved with technology is great. And that's something that obviously people, going back to your question, people wouldn't be prepared to do. That's great, but you've got to bring it back. Yeah, because people buy from people. We've been doing this for as long as we have. And the value of relationship isn't valued by a robot.
No.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Right,
It's not.
Good.
The finance journey, if you look at it from an outside of hours point of view, would be a customer would go on a dealer's website and apply whatever time of night. So let's say 9, 10 o'clock at night, once the dealership's shut, customer would apply online. That process can all be taken care of without anyone touching it. But the human element, I think, comes in when you need a conversation with a dealer or the dealer needs a conversation with you because they might have a customer's profile where that deal needs stacking in a certain way. How can we fund the extras in this deal? How can we build in this loan to value, for example? What deposits needed? It's them type of questions technology will never replace, isn't it?
Automation is great for the majority of cases that don't touch the side. If we didn't have anybody waiting in the wings for when it did touch the sides, potentially the ones that get you the bad press, aren't we?
And I think that's where we've been realistic in the sense that, yes, technology is great. Yes, we've got a good product that can go out and get you decisions in seconds. But we've also got a team to sit behind it, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're constantly reviewing decisions and the underwriters are there to pick up any applications that might fall outside them parameters. Yeah, so actually we have calls, we have live chat. But of course, emails, like live chat's probably our most popular at the moment because it's embedded into the website, it's embedded into our system. Of course, we still got additional phone. To be fair, most technology companies now don't, do they? We've got some, you just drop into the phones altogether because they don't need it. But we've still got that, and I think we'll always keep it. It's always going to be a way for dealers and customers and even lenders to contact us and speak to us. We even looked at an AI bot for the system, and we decided against it, ultimately, because it was like, where's the personal touch, isn't it?
My question is, what role does AI play in your business?
It's a great question, and I think ultimately it's about the repetitive tasks. For example, using it within the decisions, looking at the customer's credit profiles, because a credit score nowadays is not enough data to put that customer in the right place.
No.
It used to be, but now you've got to take into the fact affordability, loan to value, and things like that. AI is great with that because it looks at a customer and goes, I've seen this demographic before, I've seen this customer before, it got accepted with this lender. Now, building ahead of that, looking at the payout process, for example, AI could take them documents for us and review them. I could look at, for example, an invoice and go, actually, that invoice is incorrect. I'm going to send that back to the dealer within seconds. That's the future, I think, for us, is the AI will check before it even hits our system, isn't it? But then it also gives us greater reporting, so we can look at it and go, actually, let's ask AI how the decisions perform this month.
Yeah.
I think what's different from us in terms of a dealership has a physical product that it can ask questions on. So, for example, what cars have you got with this engine size? It's harder for us as a service to do anything like that because most of the queries we get are unique. They're about a customer's profile, aren't they? They're about a customer's application. It's very difficult to use AI for a question that's probably not been asked before.
Would there be any situation where you would have someone being potentially blocked or whatever by AI?
Oh, so in terms of applications, we don't generally auto-decline anything because we have a team that sits behind it. I know a lot of funders and even brokers will auto-decline applications. We took the decision that we've got a team there that they will look at applications. So a system saying yes and no is great. It's quick. But there's a team that sit there that actually have done this day in, day out for years, haven't they? So they know exactly where that customer will be placed. If they put more deposit in, for example, if they remove them extras, and just go for the base price of the car.
I think that's the limitations of technology and AI, of course, is it's repetitive and you've got to integrate those rules, those hard and fast, black and white. You can't replace people's knowledge. And I think what Liam's just said there, if we've gone and built this tech, of course, it's got this set of rules embedded in it. What do you do when those rules are breached? And again, because it's still new, we're still, I guess, seeking reassurance that we're not missing anything.
Yeah.
So we're using those people just to double check and make sure that there's nothing else that can be done with that. But we're not really seeing that much, are we, where it's operating outside of the system rules. Would that be fair?
Yeah. I think, as you said, the volume that hits the internal team now in terms of manual repairs is quite low.
They've all got immaculate nails now. You just sit there, find the nails. Yeah.
A few quick questions now, and you can answer them both together individually. What is about? Number one, what is the most undervalued part of the motor finance journey?
Oh, I could answer that really quite angrily, but I won't. I think I mentioned it earlier. It's the liabilities that we carry, the costs that we have to incur, not have to, choose to, but then to double back on your question earlier about how do we see the future of and value of motor finance brokers, you have to invest to stay up. And I think that is absolutely undervalued. I'm just not sure yet that the industry realizes what goes on to present those decisions for them in real time.
Right, I will get to question 2. Will the traditional finance broker still exist by 2030?
If you're keeping the traditional, then no. You've got to move. You've got to move with what's required. The cultural shifts, you've got to stay aligned with that.
And as a final little bit of fun, this is an automotive-based podcast. If you were a car, what car would you be?
Whoa, I don't know. I'd probably just be a reliable city car at the minute. That's my life. Quite boring, yeah. Yeah. Come to work, go home, do gym stuff. So I'd go for the city car and that'd be a bit practical.
I'll be a 911. What do you say, Adrian?
Get a load of me.
Get a load of me. Yeah.
I very much look forward to when your business goes through the roof and you can buy the 911 and more importantly, if you want to go inside it as well. Thank you very much for both your time and your expert insight and not least your entertainment. Thank you both so much.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Great to speak to you.
That was Liam Vaughan and Jarrod Bradley from AU Finance, proving that experience first isn't just a slogan, it's a technical requirement for the modern forecourt. So please do join us next time on the Automotive Business Podcast, and don't forget to check out our motor trade news and business motoring for your daily automotive updates. Goodbye.